All right, Drunker Steve here. We're going to have a special quiz for Derek Barr and Sean Duffy of the Fmcsa DOT. So, ready to go? Sean, Derek, on the bottom, comments, answer all the questions and tell me. I would answer the best of my ability, but I'm not that good, and I might get every one of them wrong. So I need someone from the Fmcsa, hopefully Sean and Derek, will answer the questions. Are you ready? Let's go. Question number 1. The DOT has a strict requirements for trucking companies, as carriers, mega carriers, to train the new inexperienced CDL drivers. I think that's false. Could be wrong, but I don't think there's any regulations. So if I typed it into Fmcsa, they'll go and say, nah, all the students are trained with the entry-level driver training programs, not needed. Yeah. Now, mega carriers such as Schneider and some of the big mega carriers do have great training programs for the inexperienced trucker that's coming out of CDL school. Next question, number 2. The modernization training program teaches students to develop backing skills, such as alley docking, 45, 90-degree angle backing, building a strong foundation for when they get their first job as a CDL driver. True or false? Derek, do you know? I think that's false. I don't think the Fmcsa even requires alley docking anymore. Used to, but no more. And they go on their first job, and that poor driver trainer has to teach that student from scratch, because basically a lot of them do not have that skill. Some schools go above and beyond and do teach it. The reverse offset. So you're backing into the alley on the reverse offset. This space is 15 feet longer than the tractor size, from the rear of the tractor bumper to the front bumper of the tractor. Is that true or false? I think that's false too. No, used to be way back in 2020, whatever. Now, the size of the opening of the alley is always the same size. Now, a lot of schools have 53-foot trailers and a sleeper, and that is really a true reverse offset or blindside parallel park. And that's why so many schools says, well, there's no rules, so we'll just get a little pup, 28-foot, and a day cab, and they get all this space to back it in. It's really teaching them good. Okay, so schools. Is there a rule in the Fmcsa rules if you have a tractor and if it's a manual, so the student was going to get no restriction, he can drive a manual or automatic, whatever. So there must be a rule saying on Fmcsa, CDL schools must have, the tractor must not be a synchronized transmission. I think that's false. I don't think there's any wording or rules about that. So you can get a tractor, some old tractor or whatever, that's a synchronized tractor. So basically, you don't have to double clutch that. Just clutch in neutral. Just clutch. It's like a car. Just clutch to gear, clutch to gear, clutch to gear. Not clutch to neutral, rev, and all that stuff. All that stuff's out the window. Make it much easier. He said, man, you're a great shifter. And then you have that manual on your license and didn't really earn it. On the pre-trip inspection, the belts, drive axle, tires, exhaust system, and a lot more must be inspected. Slack adjusters. Okay. Is that on the pre-trip inspection? Are they safety items? No, I think it's false. I don't think it's on the pre-trip inspection. And I'm not saying we should have 100-some items to be inspected, but some items are safety related, but they're not on the pre-trip inspection. When doing a range skill test, the student, if they should hit a cone or run over a cone, knock the cone over, take the back trailer tire, run it out the alley, that is an automatic fail. I say false. What do you say, Sean Duffy? I say that's false. If it goes out or when it starts going out of the boundaries, the whistle will blow. Driver must stop and get back in the alley. Yes, there'll be points. You can't afford that many points, so it will be points. But run over grandmom, if you want to call it Kona grandmom. Run it over. Just get the whistle blow and hopefully you don't run out of points and pass that test. Okay. Now, Derek Barr, this one's for you, but I'm going to try to answer it. When a student is set up for his testing, the Fmcsa form requires the CDL school to state that the student is proficient in all skills. That's a 2025. I'm going to say false. What do you say, Derek? Proficient is not on the form when the Fmcsa or the school sets up the student for testing. They go on the Fmcsa website, and on the form, that word does not appear. I could be wrong, but I don't think the word's there. Now, all over the website, it says the student must be proficient in all skills. Why would you leave the word out when the school's setting up a student for testing? Just self-certified that the student is ready to take his test and you barely can back up. Also, Fmcsa, hey, how about defining? What do you mean by proficient? It's not defined. And why would you, if you have it all over your website on entry-level driver training on those forms that the instructor, the school must document or whatever that the student is proficient, and not put it on the form when the school sets it up? Why? Why wouldn't you do that? You listening, Derek? Sean Duffy, listening? Okay, another question. Fmcsa requires all CDL schools to train students for a Class A CDL license in industry standard equipment. True or false? That's a good one. Now, I think that's false. What do you think, Sean? How many schools put out 28-foot trailers, day cabs, don't even have a 48 or a 53-foot trailer on? Some of them don't even have sleeper tractors. Is that really training students with industry standard equipment? I don't think so. The Fmcsa mission is to provide CDL students with the best quality training, and the entry-level driving training program has accomplished this mission. Now, here's where I really could be wrong. I'm going to say false, but everyone else in the Fmcsa say, Steve, you are wrong. It's true, but I say it's false because all the questions I just went over proves it that it's not true. It's got to be false. When they changed it over from to what we had in 2021, and when they put the modernization program in, that was so watered down. Nah, the program now is a watered down program to benefit the states so they can test students in a smaller footprint, something smaller, because a lot of these state testing sites could not test students for Class A tractor trailer because they didn't have the room. Now they do. Now more state testing sites can test students. All right, here's another one. The entry-level driver training program outline, what's on the website, on Fmcsa website when it comes to entry-level driver training, is up to date and what is required at a CDL school. I say that's false. Like I said, when the new modernization program came in, it was not, as far as I know, as of 2026, has not yet been updated. Why? Why would you update that? Unless you want to have two programs. I mean, you might have to add another section because some schools might not want to do this modernization testing. They might want to say, you know what, state might come and say, no, we're not going to do the modernization testing. We like the previous test, the standard testing with the alley docking, true parallel, park blind side, sight side, and a really true reverse offset to the right or the left. So you probably have to have both wording, and you got to go from one, have chapter 1, and then the modernization standard. So you have to have both in. But it hasn't been updated. Do something. And we'll just end up here. FMCSA has a minimum number of training hours on the range and also a minimum number of hours training on a public road. Is that true or false? I'll give that to Derek. Whoever gets it first wins. But I'm going to go around and answer it myself. I say that's false because there is no minimum number of hours required from the FMCSA on the road or on the range. That's why we have CDL school mills. Thank you, FMCSA. So you put a beautiful, really good video out, I think February the 21st. Good video. And I thank you, Sean and Derek, for the hard work that you have done. But yet, I don't think the instructors or driver trainer, we don't have a seat at the table. So we can't put our views out there. And I'm not sure if you even listened to YouTube videos to try to understand what is really going on out there at CDL schools. It's got to be a CDL school mill. But no, most of the time they are following what the FMCSA tells them to do, or they following what the FMCSA really looks the other way, and they don't enforce rules, and they don't have a clear definition about the curriculum, what they should do. And that's why you can have 4 or 5 day CDL schools, and you want to call them mills, but yet they haven't broken any CDL rules. They're only doing what you give them. Once they realize there's a lot of big loopholes out there that the FMCSA provided, there's where the issue is. Derek, Sean, comment below. I want to know how well you did, and make sure you tell me how bad I did.